In the heart of the Himalayas, within the mystic kingdom of Bhutan, there lies an unbroken ancient tradition for centuries, where the Bhutanese have lived in harmony with all sentient beings, and this inherent knowledge continues to influence all aspects of life in the kingdom deeply. Amid this idyllic setting, a persistent challenge surfaced that continued to upset the delicate balance of our way of life, not only for the people, but also for our beloved companions, dogs. The dog population in the country had grown exponentially in recent times, bringing with it a host of problems: dog bites, livestock and wildlife attacks, the spread of diseases, and fear of venturing out for the general public. In most parts of the country, rabies had been successfully eradicated, except in the southern and some parts of the eastern regions. The open and unrestricted cross-border movement of free-roaming dogs contributed to population growth as well as the increased threats of rabies outbreaks. Tragically, between 2006 and 2023, 19 human deaths were reported due to dog-mediated rabies. Further, as the dog population continued to proliferate, some domestic dogs turned feral, threatening not only livestock and the livelihood of farmers and herders, but also wildlife and the delicate balance of nature itself. In response, the nation undertook an array of measures to tackle the persistent challenge, including the implementation of free-roaming dog sterilization campaigns of various scales. Despite all these efforts, the free-roaming dog problem continued to pose a huge concern due to the increasing population and the resultant impact on public health and safety, animal welfare, biodiversity, the country's image, and potentially the economy in the long run. On July 30, 2021, representatives of the Department of Livestock and Desung were granted a virtual audience by His Majesty the King. During this momentous audience, His Majesty's clear vision and decisive call for action inspired and guided the department to devise a swift and comprehensive plan to manage the free-roaming dog population in a professional, humane and compassionate manner with manpower support from Desung, backed with adequate resources and engagement of all stakeholders. The royal vision thus led to the birth of the nationwide Accelerated Dog Population Management and Rabies Control Program, adopting a whole-of-nation approach to achieve 100% sterilization of free-roaming dogs, making the approach and the objective a first not only in Bhutan, but also in the world. The second royal audience, granted at the Golden Throne Room of Tashi Chozong, blessed the team to implement the program. To provide wise counsel on policy formulations, endorse strategies, and mobilize requisite resources for the program, an advisory group was formed comprising key officials from His Majesty's Secretariat, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, and Desung. A core group comprising officials from the department and Desung was also formed to implement and manage the program. The program's blueprint, encompassing a detailed implementation strategy, financial plan, human resource mobilization plan, and ancillary activities, was developed and endorsed following thorough consultations with the key stakeholders. The main objectives of the program were to achieve 100% sterilization of free-roaming dogs to gain freedom from free-roaming dogs eventually, ensure responsible pet ownership through digital identification and registration of all pet dogs, manage the feral dog population, control rabies through intensified vaccination campaigns, and achieve the global goal of 0 by 30, 0 human death due to dog-mediated rabies by 2030, and conservation of the native Chanchi dog breed. Inspired by the Royal Command to manage the free-roaming dog population in a professional, humane, and compassionate manner, the program adopted the Catch, Sterilize, Vaccinate, Withhold, and Release protocol, wherein the withhold part in the protocol was unique to Bhutan to ensure animal welfare and compassionate care post-surgery. The dogs were caught by deploying different methods such as hand catching, netting, oral sedation, trapping and darting, sterilized under general anesthesia, vaccinated against rabies, withheld in a recovery shelter for 24 hours, and released at the location from which they were caught. In addition, the dogs were treated against other ailments diagnosed during the sterilization process. It was clear that the program was to be implemented like none other in the past. It was to embrace a holistic approach, bringing everyone on board. At the heart of this program stood skilled veterinarians and veterinary paraprofessionals, DESUP volunteers, and other supporting members. The implementation of the program coincided with the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic and associated restrictions had a huge impact on how the program progressed. The program evolved, adapting to new challenges of uncertainty, and became reliant on agility in both planning and implementation. The human resources requirement and capacity building were achieved through the implementation of the on-the-job training. To build up the HR requirements projected based on the estimated dog population and geographical settings. Due to the COVID-19 movement restrictions, some of the training had to be conducted in containment mode. The challenge at hand demanded the utmost care while accomplishing the objective. For the mission was not merely about numbers, but about preserving the sanctity of life itself. To ensure that no harm befell the innocent animals, DESUPs underwent rigorous training in various catching methods, from befriending free-roaming dogs through the gentle offering of biscuits, to the art of hand-catching friendly canines, from deftly using nets to humane care for the dogs during post-surgical recovery, and until returned to their area of habitation, every measure was taken to ensure the safety and well-being of the dogs. As the program carried on, dogs became smarter, and the art of invention became critical in catching dogs. Towards the end, DESUPs and livestock officials had to step out of their uniforms into nondescript clothing to lure and catch dogs, since dogs recognized both the uniform and the sound of the vehicles they came in. In December 2021, a 2-day nationwide free-roaming dog survey was conducted, aimed at establishing baseline information on the overall dog population and formulating program implementation strategies. Despite the challenging weather conditions characterized by extreme cold and snowfall in the northern Dzongkhats and heavy rainfall across the nation, the survey successfully covered the entire country. The survey revealed a total of 72,621 free-roaming dogs. Notably, 44,390 dogs identified as being unsterilized through their ear notch status were earmarked for sterilization. Simultaneously, to ensure efficient recording and management of the data generated through this program, mobile applications and a database management system were developed. For identification and traceability, all the pet dogs were microchipped and registered using this system. The program's control center was established at the National Center for Animal Health, Thimphu, to provide technical guidance, troubleshoot data management issues, and share daily progress with relevant stakeholders. It also served as a public health desk through a toll-free number for information and grievances redressal. Communication and advocacy were vital for the program's success. Awareness campaigns were undertaken underlining the issues related to free-roaming dog overpopulation, irresponsible pet ownership, the importance of multi-sectoral collaboration, and disease risks. Further, consultation meetings were held with various stakeholders such as local governments, animal welfare organizations, and the public to garner their support during the implementation of the program. Partnerships were fostered and stakeholder feedback was consistently incorporated throughout the program. Amidst meticulous planning, unwavering dedication, and a nation united in purpose, the time for action finally arrived for undertaking this historic endeavor. March 29, 2022, forever etched in the annals of Bhutan's history, marked the auspicious day when His Excellency the Prime Minister launched the program from Thimphu Dzongkhag Veterinary Hospital, and simultaneously clinics from across the country joined the launch virtually. The launch ceremony called for action to address an old and persistent challenge, guided by His Majesty's far-sighted vision and the strategic importance of achieving this objective in nation building. A Herculean task never tried before was set in motion. To ensure the capture and sterilization of all the free-roaming dogs, the program was implemented in 3 distinct phases: the nationwide phase, mass sterilization; the mopping phase, then in smaller groups; and the combing phase, final search and sterilization of elusive dogs. All the essential supplies were directly distributed to the clinics from the National Center for Animal Health Serbithang, where a small dedicated team operated under containment mode. In navigating the challenges posed by the impending COVID-19 risk zonation and associated movement restrictions, the implementation of the different phases of the program was intricately tied to the COVID-19 risk map of the country. During the nationwide phase, the majority of the free-roaming dogs were sterilized, and most of them were caught by hand, net, or handed over by community people. Subsequently, the mopping phase of the program targeted the dogs that had been missed or deliberately left out during the nationwide phase, including puppies, pregnant and lactating dogs, and the elusive ones. To address the elusive dogs that remained after the mopping phase, the program seamlessly transitioned into the concluding phase, the combing phase, strategically designed to capture and sterilize the remaining elusive dogs and ensure comprehensive coverage. During this phase, robust and strategic methods were employed for catching, such as trapping, oral sedation, and darting. This underscored the program's commitment to leaving no stone unturned in achieving its goals. As this phase drew to a close, a significant milestone was achieved. Every free-roaming dog had undergone sterilization. As the sun gracefully set on this pivotal phase of the program, a sense of hope and optimism lingered in the air. The once elusive dogs, sources of concern and challenge, had been successfully addressed, and the hearts of communities resonated with the positive impact of the initiative. The journey towards a safer, healthier, and more compassionate society had taken a significant stride forward, propelled by the unwavering dedication of all those involved. Shortly, the Dzongkhags and Tomdes geared up for the declaration of their respective jurisdictions as having achieved 100% sterilization coverage of the free-roaming dog population. For this matter, a meticulous standard operating procedure was crafted to provide comprehensive guidance to relevant stakeholders, outlining the application, assessment, and endorsement processes for the self-declaration of freedom from unsterilized, free-roaming dogs in specific jurisdictions. To validate the self-declarations, a field survey was conducted by deploying independent teams. This was aimed to ensure the accuracy and reliability of the claims, eventually culminating in the official endorsement of 100% sterilization coverage in a given jurisdiction. The escalating issue stemming from the rising dog population involved the emergence of feral dogs, presenting a significant threat to wildlife and rural communities. These unrestrained feral dogs cause issues relating to the depredation of livestock and wildlife and often posed a serious threat to local communities. To tackle this issue, a rapid response team comprising of skilled personnel from the Department of Livestock and Department of Forests and Park Services trained in immobilization and tranquilization techniques were mobilized. The team employed many methods such as public consultations, visual counts, and camera trap surveillance to map the size and habitat of the feral dog population. Humane and effective strategies were designed and tailored to suit the unique circumstances of each community. One piece of the puzzle to this holistic approach was managing the aggressive free-roaming dogs that persistently posed a threat to public health and caused a social nuisance. As a part of managing this problem, 2 dedicated shelters were constructed, one in Paro and the other in Thimphu. These shelters played a crucial role in providing a safe and controlled environment for dogs that had undergone the sterilization process and in reducing public health risks. To ensure the sustainability of this effort, a group of passionate animal lovers collaborated to operate and manage the shelters. While the primary objective of the program was to sterilize all free-roaming dogs to control the population, there was a significant worry about the potential decline in the native dog population and the loss of Bhutan's unique dog identity. In response to this concern, and under the directive of His Majesty, an initiative was launched to conserve the native dog population. A conservation center was built where native dogs collected from across the country were housed for purebred development and conservation. The center not only serves as a sanctuary for these dogs, but also functions as a source for native dog breeds in the future. As the program picked up its pace to achieve the 100% sterilization of the free-roaming dogs, the need for stronger regulation, especially on the aspects of responsible pet ownership, was felt. During the program, the sterilization of pet dogs was left to the discretion of the pet owners, which could become a continuous source of free-roaming dogs if relevant and timely regulations were not put in place. Subsequently, a review of the Livestock Act of Bhutan 2001 and Livestock Rules and Regulations 2017 were undertaken, leading to the incorporation of comprehensive pet management measures. These amended measures were endorsed by the Lhenki Shunsok and were implemented through an executive order on October 3, 2022. Additionally, the implementation of rabies prevention and control measures was a key component of the program. All the dogs caught and sterilized were vaccinated against rabies. Furthermore, particular attention was given to the rabies high-risk southern and eastern districts where intensive mass dog vaccination campaigns were implemented, with a targeted coverage of at least 70% in free-roaming dogs. As the program forged ahead towards the goal of a nation where free-roaming dogs were sterilized and pet owners were responsible, the future looked better and under control. This was the legacy the program sought to leave behind, inspiring generations to come and paving the way for a brighter and kinder future for all. The successful execution of this monumental endeavor required a substantial financial and human resource commitment. A total budget of 295 million Nuldrum was spent on the program. The successful implementation of such an ambitious initiative required the dedicated efforts of formidable teams. A collective force of 8,992 desups, 2,734 technical staff, and 1,098 non-technical staff stepped forward to undertake their roles. The impact of these collective efforts was substantial. 100% of the free-roaming dogs were sterilized, and more than 90% were vaccinated against rabies. To promote responsible pet ownership, 32,544 pet dogs were microchipped and registered. A great sense of fulfillment, unity, and achievement of purpose marked the end of this program for a nation that always upheld its values in forging ahead, as evident with Bhutan becoming the first country in the world to achieve 100% sterilization of its free-roaming dog population. A critical strategy to ensure the sustainability of these accomplishments was vital to maintain this success, to prevent the undoing of all the efforts and resources that had been invested. The strategy involved handing over the ownership and responsibility of the program to the local governments across Dzongkhag's and Thomde's. The local governments, standing tall as stalwart pillars, pledged their very resources to sustain the newfound dominion over the dog population. To celebrate this historic achievement and to formally close the program, a ceremony was held on October 27, 2023 in Thimphu. The Honorable Prime Minister and other dignitaries graced the occasion. During the ceremony, certificates of recognition were awarded to the Dzongkhag and Thomde administrations, and an agreement of commitment to sustaining the achievements was signed between the Director, the Department of Livestock, and the respective Dzongdas and Trompens. Furthermore, in recognition of the excellent partnership and collaboration, the key stakeholders were awarded certificates of commendation. Born from the auspicious initiative of His Majesty the King, the program garnered unparalleled support, unwavering commitment, and collaboration from the policymakers, government organizations, private agencies, local government, and the communities. It was embraced as a national endeavor at all levels, aligning with our King's profound vision to create a healthier and safer Bhutan for all. Together, the program orchestrated a complex symphony of activities, perhaps best compared to piecing together a huge and complex jigsaw, revealing one part of the full picture at a time, but slowly and steadily merging and stitching the bigger picture, only to be revealed fully at the end. And just as in a jigsaw, every piece mattered, and each piece needed to be in the right place for the magic to happen. Becoming the first country in the world to sterilize 100% of its free-roaming dog population, Bhutan takes a significant stride towards its vision of becoming a nation free from free-roaming dogs and dog-mediated human rabies. However, the journey ahead demands unwavering support, commitment, collaboration, and dedication from all the stakeholders and citizens to sustain this historic milestone.